This video is brought to you by AztecaSoccer.com, your one-stop shop for all the latest and greatest soccer gear. Be sure to use coupon code SR4U at checkout to receive 10% off any order of $75 or more. Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Nike Mercurial Victory 5 in the latest CR7 Gala Glimmer colorway. Now inside the box with this particular colorway, you're going to find this little tag, which we'll talk about more later in the video. But other than that, all you're going to find is pretty much just the shoes themselves. They do not come with any extras. So we'll get these guys out of the box really quickly and take a closer look at the Victory 5, what essentially is one of the most popular takedown models currently out there on the market. Now this shoe is just below the Veloce 2 and just above the Vortex 2, which I don't really consider to be part of the Mercurial lineup just because it doesn't really retain any Mercurial elements. So for the sake of this video, we're going to say that this is the last model in the Mercurial lineup. A standard colorway of the Victory 5 retails for about $80 US, whereas the CR7 colorway does have a $5 premium on top. So they retail for $85 in this particular color. It is of course a budget model, and in today's video we're going to go over all the details on performance, the tech specs, the colorway, how these things fit and feel overall, and essentially determine, because this is a budget model, whether or not these are worth the $85 price of admission. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. Starting off with the colorway, as this is the Gala Glimmer CR7 version of the Victory 5, as you might expect, it features a black base with that glimmer effect on the upper. Now in comparison to the Superfly 4, the actual color I would say is similar. It's more of a black base with that glimmer pattern on top, whereas if you've seen my videos on the Vapor 10 or even the Veloce 2, they're still black, but I would categorize it as more of a very, very dark gray as opposed to a pure black. So for that reason, I actually really like the look of the Victory 5, even though it is a takedown model, even though it retails for less than $100. In this particular colorway especially, it does have that very premium vibe about it. So you can see as I kind of move it around, you definitely do get that glimmer effect from the upper. You have your white Nike swoosh here, your CR7 branding right there on the medial side, black laces, black liner. You get that blue color in the insole, and then of course this does feature a standard TPU plastic sole plate, all black in color. Some of the studs are translucent, and then some of the studs, as you can see, are blue in color. The one key takeaway here is this little tag they include inside the box. We'll read it very quickly. It says the sparkle aesthetic on this shoe will fade off during play, but this will not affect the performance of the product. So you can see there's a little chart right here which shows a shoe that is very sparkly, which represents what they are right now, brand new out of the box. And then as you start to wear them, they'll become less and less sparkly. So that glimmer effect on the surface of the upper, which is apparent when you make contact with the shoe, just kind of touching it and rubbing your hand across, you're not going to find that the glitter wears off. But like I said, once you start wearing it, it's not a permanent finish on the shoe. It'll start to wear off. It won't be as glittery as they were from first day out of the box, but it doesn't necessarily say that every ounce of glitter on the shoe will wear off completely. It just won't look the same as when they're brand new. So it's a normal thing. It's just how these shoes are going to wear, and it's how the shoe had to be done if you want that glimmer effect on the upper. It looks really cool. I'm a big fan of it personally. I know a lot of people are giving it some great feedback as far as how it looks, but of course, just know that if you are planning on buying these, that glimmer effect won't necessarily be the same as it is from out of the box a couple months down the road. As far as performance is concerned, there's nothing about the Victory 5 that's going to blow you away once you put these things on your feet. For an $80 to $85 retail price, especially in comparison to all other budget models within this particular price range, I would say that the Victory 5 is definitely above average in terms of overall quality. The upper is fully synthetic, just like you'd find with all the rest of the higher end Mercurial models. It's labeled as a trophy synthetic, so it's technically the same material found on the Hypervenom Felon, another very popular takedown model from Nike, but obviously this is completely smooth as opposed to having that faux honeycomb finish on the surface of the upper, or the texturing, I guess is the best way to put it. Now, of course, the surface of this upper does feature that glimmer effect, so it has a very kind of fine, gritty, sandpaper-like texturing to the touch, as opposed to that micro texturing you would normally find on the standard colorways. It's not going to make a huge impact on the overall feel, and it's really a minor thing that shouldn't be taken into too much consideration if you're planning on buying this colorway versus another color of the Victory 5. Central lacing system, as you can see, the actual thickness of the upper is thin. It's soft and flexible enough. Again, it's not going to fool you as an ultra premium model. It definitely does feel like a takedown, but in comparison to most synthetic shoes in this particular price range, even the Hypervenom Felon, I find the Victory 5 to be a lot nicer overall. It's thin, it's somewhat soft, it's somewhat flexible, and when it's on your foot, it actually locks your foot in place quite nicely. It even has the same fused-on support cage that you're going to find on the higher-end Mercurial models. So like I said, when you do pull those laces tight, it secures your foot in place really nicely, and you get a good, nice responsive feel when moving laterally in these shoes, which is kind of what you're looking for from a Mercurial model from Nike. It does have the low cut in the heel, as you guys can see, internal plastic heel counter, the synthetic leather lining on the inside, which is nothing that is too different from the higher end models. The insole is fully removable. I'll remove it for you guys so you can see exactly what it looks like. It features a mesh lining on top, and it's made from a single layer of this gray foam. Decent thickness to it, so it's certainly not going to be as lightweight or low profile as what you're going to find on higher end Mercurial models, but certainly is going to provide decent step in comfort. And then moving on to the sole plate, this is probably one of the most significant changes coming from any of the higher end models, is that it's not made from compressed nylon or of course carbon fiber like you'd find on the top end Superfly 4. Instead, it's just a general, pretty standard TPU plastic sole plate, which is by no means a bad thing, just not as premium or certainly as light as what you're going to find from the higher end models. And then the stud pattern, which is laid out pretty much the same. You're going to find your 4 heel studs and all the bladed studs in the forefoot. The only difference here is that because it's a TPU plastic base as opposed to a stiffer compressed nylon or carbon fiber, the studs themselves are a little bit beefier, a little bit chunkier in terms of how they're shaped. So they're not quite as aggressive. They're not going to penetrate the ground quite as easily, but the overall traction experience that you get from the Victory 5 is still going to be Mercurial-esque and still above average in comparison to most stud patterns out there on the market. So as far as these shoes providing a Mercurial-esque feel, you're definitely going to get that sensation from the Victory 5, which is kind of what I like about this particular shoe. But again, it really depends on what you're looking for, and it really depends on your budget, because the higher end models above the Victory 5 really are a lot better, specifically the Veloce 2. As far as weight is concerned, I'm actually really happy with the Victory 5. They aren't as lightweight as any of the higher end models, which range in between 6 and 7 ounces in a size 9 US, but these, like I mentioned, are not too far off. So I'm going to weigh them for you today in real time. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in size 9 US. I'm going to throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.6 ounces. So just a little bit more than the Superfly 4, which, believe it or not, is the heaviest of the higher end Mercurial models. And again, if you're looking for something that's lightweight on a budget, at 7.6 ounces, you're not going to find too many shoes that are this light for this particular retail price. So again, if you're looking for that Mercurial-esque feel, a somewhat lightweight feel as well, the Victory 5 is definitely going to deliver. All right, here's a look at the Victory 5s on feet. And in terms of how these things feel, they feel okay, but certainly not premium. The two biggest differences that you're going to notice between a Victory 5 and any of the higher end models this year is, one, the synthetic material, like I said, just doesn't feel premium. It doesn't feel as good as what you're going to find on those higher end shoes. And two, it doesn't have that same one-to-one perfect wrap of your foot like you're going to find from the higher end models. And again, a lot of that is due to the synthetic just not being as thin, not being as soft, not being as flexible. There's really a lot of things that make this shoe not as good as the higher end Mercurials. But like I said, as a package, it certainly isn't bad. They're relatively comfortable from right out of the box, a little bit stiff, so break-in time is required. You're going to especially notice that in the forefoot area, at least for me personally. The synthetic just isn't as soft or as flexible as I would like it to be, but that will change after a couple hours of use. But in terms of the overall wrap on your foot, like I said, it's not as good as the higher-end Mercurials, but certainly doesn't feel bad, especially for a shoe in this particular price range. And in comparison to all other shoes in this price range, I would say that these fit above average. So you get a nice wrap. In terms of the width of the shoe, it's a tighter fitting shoe, but it certainly isn't as tight as the higher end Mercurials. And it's going to be suitable for most foot types. I mean, if you have excessively wide feet, you're not going to get a lot of stretch out of this synthetic material. The way they fit from right out of the box is more or less the way they're going to fit for their entire lifespan. But like I said, these will be suitable for most people in terms of how they fit and the width that they have to offer. As far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit is pretty much perfect in the length. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, just like all the other Mercurial models over the last couple of years, these run true to size. So I'd recommend going for your normal size for the best possible fit. Alright guys, that's it for my review of the Nike Mercurial Victory 5. Is this a shoe that I can recommend? If you're going to be paying full retail, so $80 to $85 on a pair of these, I think the answer to that question is no. If you're going to be spending anywhere between $80 and $100 on a pair of shoes, almost always are there better deals out there, such as last year's top-end models that used to retail for $200 plus that are now going on sale for $80 to $100. They're going to be better quality, they're going to perform better, and they're just better shoes overall for the price of this year's takedown model. If you're picking these up on sale, so anywhere between $50 and $60, if you're really on a tight budget and you just absolutely must have the latest Mercurial colorway, the latest Mercurial look, or some kind of a Mercurial type of shoe, then yes, the Victory 5 certainly is not a bad option. But again, at that full retail price, please explore your options, because if you're going to be spending $80 on a pair of shoes, almost always are there better deals out there, sales happening pretty much all the time, and you're just able to get a much better quality shoe than the lowest takedown model at full retail price. So please keep that in mind. If you guys are interested in picking up something and you are in a bit of a budget, you want to see what's on sale right now, check out the super deals section on my website. There'll be a link to that down below in the description. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, there's going to be a link to the review page also down below in the description. You'll find the high quality images as well as buy it now links with the best prices online, along with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you can actually pick this colorway as well as all the other Mercurial Victory colorways up below their retail price. So be sure to go ahead and check that out if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave those down below in the comment section. I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. That would be greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.